Yeah, when you live in the United States of America and you're banished from a state, like you're the fucking, like you're Zuko from the Fire Nation, you got exiled. Normally not a good thing. Normally you don't want that guy in your posse.
Mudahar, and I'm a little bit sick.
AKA Muda everywhere. Okay, apparently the MrBeast situation has gotten very confusing, and it has because I have become a fan of his content, and now he has found himself in controversy. So, Jimmy, why did you do this? I just found you. Well, I mean, I didn't just find you, but I just started seeing some of your content, mainly the ones around Carrie Minotti, but that's neither here nor there.
But ladies and gentlemen, we've got a wild video today, and ever since I've been covering some of this MrBeast stuff, for the last
Also, Muda, I like the orange on your shirt.
several months, it's been one of those stories where, to this day, even the man himself...
Dude, if there's a TwitchCon, I'm sorry, Muda, to interrupt you, and this is not even relevant to the conversation at hand or the video, but if I can ever go to a TwitchCon, I'm going to find out Muda and see if we can't, like, you know, dab up. Seems like one hell of a dude. I like Muda.
...has not answered, and it's been kind of this game that goes back and forth, and it's kind of one of these stories that just keeps having, like, M. Night Shyamalan-esque turns, okay? Like, twists and turns everywhere. It's like
it's filmed like a Quentin Tarantino film. You're in the front, then now you're in the back, now you're in the middle, but now you're in the front again, now you're in the back, and you get all this extra context, and you're like, what the hell is going on here?
Watching Signs all over again. Now, why are we talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, in such a, grave way? Well, there's one channel by the name of Soggy Cereal.
What happened to Rat Pack 420? Now we're at Soggy Cereal? Can I just get like some toasty bread? What's coming up next?
66,000 subscribers that has made a feature-length reveal on MrBeast. Has actually covered many of the actual accusations brought forward, which there
not dog or Rat Pack 420, Dog Pack 404.
are a lot of. So for this video and the concise nature of it, I'm really going to be focusing on things that really I feel are the most important. So I'm not going to be jumping into war crimes or CGI or anything of that nature. Now, to give context...
You have war crimes and MrBeast in the same sentence, and you're not going to jump 10 toes in on that? Like he's standing on business, I'm a big stepper.
Over here. About a few months ago, there was a user known as DogPack404.
Not Rat Pack 420.
DogPack404 is a pretty, I guess you could say, up-and-coming YouTuber. He's got 2 videos uploaded. There used to be 3, but the 3rd one got removed, for why we'll find out later. Now, here he
I think that was like the apology, and he's like, my bad, MrBeast. I don't want to be sued. You got a lot more money than I do.
A video 3 months ago. They got 15 million views. I worked for MrBeast. He's a fraud. Now, there was a second part to this video where, again, things get even more intense.
That's a good title.
You can see that it clearly is a pretty big point for YouTube when the largest creator on the platform is being called out for some pretty serious shit. Now, initially, Soggy Cereal starts this video off with what appears to be DogPack404 getting fired. So I want you to listen to this to set the tone.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension.
Guys, I promise you, if I ever win the lottery, there will be signs. YouTube Premium and ad blockers will be the sign.
Pushing back on everything that we're saying. So
well, because you're trying to fire me, and I want to work at this company.
I'm the CEO of this company. If I'm talking.
I'm the CEO of this company. If I'm talking, you're listening. Shut your mouth and listen to what I have to say. Do you understand me?
I've been trying to get to this point of working on MrBeast for a long time. Can I please have a second chance?
Yeah, you just heard somebody get completely fired from their job. Now, what happens when an employee gets fired? They either walk...
Can I please have a second, sir? No, you can drop down and give me 50.
Walk away into the sunset, seek new employment, or they start one of the wildest internet campaigns that you could imagine. Now, to give you an idea, there were a couple things that I wanted to hit, so I want to start this video off with a pretty hard-hitting point. Now, in one of DogPack's video, he mentions a character known as Delaware. Now, Delaware is an individual that actually has a real conviction behind the belt, okay?
Yo, this guy works for MrBeast?
Somebody that actually is in the sex offender camp of convictions. Now, inside this entire story, Jake Weddle, one of the people being interviewed by DogPack, actually had basically come in and talked about this. In one of these long interviews, Jake Weddle mentions the guy was banished by the state.
Dude, what a last name, Jake Weddle.
Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around. And what if he's one of the people in the Discord servers? What if he's not? I don't know. But when I was there, they called him Delaware. He's like, why do you call him Delaware? And I didn't know. Apparently, they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware.
Yo, that's so. That if that's how you got your nickname in the company, because you're not allowed to go to Delaware because you got some offender charges on you, that's actually kind of insane. Yeah.
That's his nickname? Colloquially? Like, it's Delaware.
Colloquially? God damn, that's a big word. Coming from a dude who has a mullet.
Now, initially at this moment in time, kind of the red flag was sort of being raised, because generally getting banished by a state is some pretty big information.
Yeah, when you live in the United States of America and you're banished from a state, like you're like you're Zuko from the Fire Nation, you got exiled, normally not a good thing. Normally you don't want that guy in your posse. Unless you got an Uncle Iroh around.
Now, according to Sagi, who got in touch with a few of these people working at the company, one of them being Dustin Harris, ends up actually sending this message. And this is where, again, I want to remind you, when I first covered this story, when I first covered this section, I was genuine when I was saying I don't think there's any good answer to it. But this is some much needed context. Dustin Harris says, as far as Delaware goes, he was just a local Best Buy manager Jimmy found. The company was growing really quickly, and it was.
So he was just a local Best Buy manager? So, like, you can be on an offender list and still be a manager at Best Buy? I think we got some priority issues here, guys. I know, like, finding people for employment is hard, but I think we could raise the bar a little higher.
It was just Jimmy and 2 or 3 friends. So he went to Best Buy and hired like 3 people. One of them was named Delaware. Best Buy called him that, and we didn't make it up. And he ran the store.
Best Buy's the one who came up with it? And they still hired him?
I guess Jimmy figured if Best Buy thought he was good enough to manage a giant store, then he was probably good enough to run a YouTube channel.
I 100% believe that was literally the end, the start and end of Jimmy's thought of like getting onto this, on this guy. And he's like, Best Buy, this corporation, they had to have done enough background check where legal cleared him and HR said, it's fine, give him the green light, give him a go. He said, we're not, we're same, but different, but still same. It's fine.
I feel like those are 2 completely separate things, but sure. Which was dumb, but Jimmy was like 18 at the time, so not surprising. We do background checks now and have a super in-depth hiring process. People tend to think...
This is true, too. I'm giving Jimmy the benefit of the doubt of hiring this right now. When he's 18, he probably doesn't even have the experience that he's probably had to learn firsthand that we don't even know about on why you need super in-depth hiring processes.
A giant company we are now when they hear stories, but it wasn't a 300-person company then. It was like 5 guys buying a car with pennies on the weekend. So clearly MrBeast company is far larger, like obviously they're making more extravagant content, but back in the early days of spinning a fidget spinner and saying some name a million times, MrBeast company was, of course, very small.
Yeah.
Now, somebody that also, is in the small business world, I understand what it can be when you're starting a company. And
small business world, I don't know if we consider yourself a small business anymore unless you just have another company down in here, which we could look for later.
You do make some mistakes. However, I think...
Just kidding. Obviously, he's a small business compared to, like... He's like an individual identity and maybe has, like, a small team around him.
Hiring
It's not like Activision or Blizzard.
Registered sex offender is not a mistake that should, again, be washed away so lightly. But the point they mentioned, Best Buy... Again,
he said it,
the
not
idea
me.
was if Best Buy hires you, they probably ended up doing the actual due diligence background checks. Now, again, maybe this is a bigger concern that I have with even Best Buy. How is...
Same. Thank you, Muda.
Somebody who actually has that record, one that would take like $50 to get a proper background check done. How did Best Buy not find it? So again,
they gave him the nickname, Muda. They had to have known. They're the ones who gave him the nickname.
And this is one of those things where people look at it and say, okay, maybe it kind of makes sense how you let this hiring go through. So Delaware's first appearance was on Jimmy's YouTube channel. Right here you can see that Delaware is standing without actually having a mask. Now if you look very carefully, Delaware's t-shirt will actually say Best Buy. So
it actually has Delaware on his titty. Oh my god. Oh my god. You can't make this up. Best Buy, Delaware, with an offender working for them as a manager? Yo, I think if anything, MrBeast is going to be fine. Best Buy might take the biggest hit out of this.
actually has Delaware written on it. So it wasn't a name that they came up with over at the MrBeast Studios in order to like run some weird sick joke, as that Jake Weddle idiot put it. If you actually
Okay, now think about it this way. This is how deranged I am, and maybe how cynical I am. When I see something like this, it goes to my instantly. I'm like, okay, no wonder large companies like Disney, large institutions like Harvard, Yale, places like this can literally get taken over by people who probably don't have the best moral and ethics as a foundation, and they're the ones leading the ship. He's a manager there. You can have people who have worked their way up and have gotten into much CEO leadership roles. I mean, we hear those kind of weird stories all the time in the gaming industry, so it kind of makes, I don't say it makes sense, but like this is one of these like components or like these highlighting factors on the board. It's like, yo, they can get, like, it's not perfect. People could slip through the cracks.
listen to the Jake Weddle interview again, it really comes across as they had this really sick joke where they actually knew the guy was banished from Delaware, named them that because of the crime, and were obviously like putting him with masks on so it would somehow conceal their identity. Now, I feel like this is, again, taking a situation like this way to the extreme ends of real truthdom, okay? Why did this conspiracy cooked up by this delusional comedian actually happen to make it through Dogpack's video? It literally makes no sense whatsoever. Now again, these are always like he said, she said scenarios, but really the video footage in combination with Dustin's message makes more sense. The guy clearly worked at Best Buy, the name was identified at Best Buy, and it's pretty reasonable to assume that the guy actually, you know, didn't have this crazy nickname cooked up at MrBeast Studios. The guy literally was just some dude Delaware they knew at the time who they hired into the company. Now again, it doesn't make the situation less fucked up, all right?
Agreed. The situation is still messed up. Very bad. Not the best. But at least you can give a little bit more like empathy towards MrBeast, and especially at that age of 18 where you're like, I can see how this got through the cracks.
This makes the context of these people being evil sickos obviously not as evil as some would think. But obviously, if you're hiring anybody into your company at all, you should probably make sure for the safety of yourself and the people around you that people do not have crazy sex offenses like this, okay? And even according to Soggy's video, Delaware was fired about half a decade ago. So in Dogpack's video, there was a moment where through a voice changer, an employee was brought into the mix.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former MrBeast employee talking
This is Dogpack 404, formerly known as Rat Pack 420.
about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the MrBeast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record off the registry, and that's what actually like sparked this person to start recording.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate.
Delaware was a hustler dude. Like, completely honest with you, he was a hustler. Yeah, I can't stand his voice. His voice is hard to listen to. If there was that extra money to be made, and Jimmy didn't care about who's taking it, like if Jimmy was like, I need a set done, and Delaware was like, would you do it for like 1,000 more? And just go out there and fucking build a set for like damn, so he'd be like, yo, Jimmy, you mind like throwing an extra $1,000 on the set and I'll knock it out real quick? And Jimmy said, sure, yeah. And he worked by him, like, supposedly, would just knock a set out by himself all day for 8 hours. I mean, he's a hustler, but at least has some work ethic. It was Reed's idea to get him fired. It was like, we need to get, and he was like, we need to get you a player manager. And then we went through that whole cycle of different VPs and managers and, you know, people that won't talk to us anymore. So who's really in the wrong here? I mean, we're assuming this guy who's been put on the offenders list is downright dirty dude, right? And he's over here trying to like hustle a little bit of extra money out of Jimmy Beast, MrBeast, excuse me. But people in the company did not like him. Maybe and they're calling him like a hustler, but they're describing, hey, he charged Jimmy an extra $1,000, but he'd work all day for 8 hours on a set to make a set. I don't know. That $1,000 extra kind of seems justifiable. Because they're scared of Jimmy. And the affidavits and the testimonies from people. You have to move very quickly. Because one of those people are going to go back.
Now, again, this employee got into Sagi's video and basically revealed the fact
The
that
heck?
they actually didn't even consent to that interview in the first place. So this is a serious no-no when it comes to investigating anyone, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna have like if you're gonna get a tip or a lead from somebody, you one have to get their approval. Two, you gotta let them know that you're gonna put them in a video and shit. And three, if they're gonna be anonymous, you gotta blur out their voice like this. So putting it like in that kind of voice cycle, that's a weird thing because it assumes that you've done the other steps prior.
For instance, they thought the call was literally just gossip, and nothing on that call was actually stated with, real evidence or facts. It was quite literally, according to this person, water cooler talk.
I mean, yeah. To say that I felt tricked or used is an understatement. Like they
Yikes. I mean, you didn't have to come out and say it like this, brother.
knowingly came and did this. I had like 3 or 4 contacts call me the night that it dropped, and I was watching the whole video trying to figure out like what they were talking about, and when it got to that recording, my stomach just like sank.
All
Yeah.
because of a call that they unconsensually recorded, which you clarified was basically rumors and gossip.
Yeah, I didn't want to be involved with, didn't even know what was going on. That
I don't know. It also sounds like there was some truth behind the water cooler talk, like there always is, and now he's in trouble for it. Like, hey, you shouldn't have said that outside of work. Probably should not have. But I also think coming out like this, I don't know if that's helping his image at all.
I was just thrown into unconsensually, and yeah, you said it, man. I just it threw a pretty big wall up.
So I'm going to talk about ethics real quickly, okay? When you record anyone for a call, like even if you live in a one-party consent state, like I do in Ontario, Canada, when investigating, when doing any internet investigation, especially on super serious topics like this, I do record every single call, all right? And it's always usually not to catch somebody, but it's mostly for me to note take and, re-experience what I was saying, maybe a couple days ago. So in this situation, when you record somebody, you have...
Like, how many times in a conversation have you had the conversation, you're trying to write something down, as you're writing something down, like taking a note or something, you forget, like, exactly word for what it is. Going back and having that just for, like, extra note-taking makes a lot of sense.
have to explicitly...
Stand-up comedians do it, not saying that I am one, but I did get paired up with Andrew Schultz in the comments. Shout out to you, Demon. You have no idea how much that inflated my ego. I needed that. Holy shit.
set them up with the knowledge that they are actually being recorded, and more specifically, on the record. If that person had no idea that they were on the record, then in my opinion, it's a serious, massive miss on the part of Dogpack.
Yeah.
And I know he and plenty of people will say that he's not a journalist. It's one of the common deflections I've seen about this, but it doesn't matter. And when you make...
Yeah, if you're gonna, even if you're not a journalist, if you're doing anything that a journalist could be classified as doing, or if you're doing journalistic actions, then you got to follow all the steps. And you always, at the end of the day, this should be a lesson to CYA. Cover your arse.
Make a video that garners over 10 million views. It could even be 1,000 views. When you make a video where you're pushing serious claims like this, you have to make sure every single claim you bring forward has evidence and actual fact brought into it, but not just
Muda, I would say that I am picking up what you are putting down.
that, it's ethically sourced. If you're recording people without their consent or them being on the record, then what you say shouldn't really be an admissible thing. The only time, all right, any time a recording that I've ever leaked or released in full is when threatened with lawsuits. But that's an entirely
Replying
different
to a
story.
text, apologize.
I have tons of stuff in investigations and recordings that could be juicy in a video, especially if it's cut all the way out of context. But when things are off the record explicitly, it's off the record, right? So again, I don't understand why...
And you're supposed to have integrity and honor with that. Like, I don't understand why integrity and honor mean nothing in today's society.
This wasn't treated properly. And again, the way that Dogpack encountered this is literally release the entire actual recording, and at some point have the person notified that they're being recorded and on the record. If that doesn't exist, then we're a little worried. Now, in my videos, I looked at another user by the name of Jake the Viking who had mentioned how Jimmy's mom knew about this situation even at the time of Delaware's hiring. And while him, on his own side of the aisle, he's considered to be a dubious individual, it really casts a whole new light on the hiring of Delaware. Was this guy brought in, and did the entire company treat him as some malicious, inside joke of being an actual RSO? Or was it somebody they picked up off from Best Buy and they just didn't assume to do a background check, even though they probably 1000% should have?
At the age of 18, they're probably like, no, mom, it's fine. We already have the idea. We're not going to go back. We're not going to sit back and actually think about our actions and what about the consequences of them. We're 18. We don't know better. I mean, come on. Let's give MrBeast a little bit of credit in this.
Is MrBeast a complete idiot for hiring this guy?
Yes.
Absolutely. Should a $50 background check have been done?
Absolutely.
But is it this massive conspiracy that Dogpack, Jake Weddle, and all these people have sort of brought up? Probably not, with all the added context and information.
Yeah, MrBeast probably just had an interaction with him right then and there, looking for somebody to hire. Probably kind of got along with this dude, not knowing anything really about him, and it's like, it's fine. And then everyone's like, hey, he's kind of a bit dangerous. It's like, it's fine, he's fine. He didn't give me creeper vibes.
That we just got. This kind of reminds me of, even situations with Mama Max, where there might be, some tidbits of truth, but when it's completely overshadowed by this, insane want to make a juicier story and have the internet gobble up this crazy stuff, it makes any reasonable person question what else has Dogpack, or really anybody investigating this, actually hyped up. When you're presenting serious stories, you need to do it seriously, you need to do it ethically. The Delaware story, in my opinion, is already fucked up. And you don't need to make it even wilder by creating this conspiracy, this conspiratorial story inside the MrBeast studios. It's bad that you're hiring people like that. It's as simple as it is. Now, later on, there are other allegations that Soggy discusses, and plenty of people have actually looked into. One of them was actually the war crime allegation. So if you watch Dogpack's video, the allegation actually relates to Jake Weddle, who participated in this MrBeast challenge, where he was earning money by doing this MrBeast challenge. And while he claimed that he experienced some suffering, he experienced pain, the comparison to his suffering and the Geneva Convention and United Nations Torture Convention is completely fucking flabbergasting.
I was about to say, that seems like quite a large stretch, right? We're going from war crimes to somebody just doing a challenge a little bit sleep deprived. You kind of lost me there.
Because at the end of the day, one person gets paid to participate in a pretty lucrative job, and the other person is in a black site getting fucking tortured, okay? Very, very different scenarios. Again, you don't have to make things super duper juicy. If you already have reasonably damning stuff, stick with that. Why even go out of your way to throw the most insane points just for the internet attention?
It feels like these kids got fired. They didn't know how to deal with getting fired or taking an L and doing it honorably and on the chin and just learning from it, right, and moving on. It seems like they're like, no, we want it back. We're going to do anything we can. We're going to cause a lot of drama. We're going to throw our hands. We're going to kick our feet. We're going to yell and scream and make a whole bunch of noise until you hire us back. And it's like, sorry, bros, that's not how the real world works. You're going to get slapped, maybe on the dick.
Again, it completely dilutes the entire investigation when people do this kind of shit. So at this moment in time, down the road, there was one more actual investigation, one piece that really interested me. It was actually the illegal lotteries that MrBeast was alleged to be operating. So one of these lotteries in Dogpack's video, according to Soggy, is completely disproven. Thankfully, due to the Wayback Machine. You know what I talk about how important having Wayback Machine is? I'm not even joking. It allows you to literally grab any YouTube link, even ones that have their videos deleted, throw them into a Wayback Machine and just dig up what the video or the description or titles look like at the time.
I've had to use this thing. It is fantastic.
Now, I've done this for investigations in the past, and personally, I should have caught this, but one of the things that Soggy brought up was a interesting YouTube user interface layout. So on the right, you can actually see what is a real YouTube layout. And on the left appears to be a layout that is completely doctored. And the way that you can kind of identify this is you can see that the likes and dislikes are not appearing. And now YouTube's removed dislikes, but they haven't removed likes. So why that doesn't show up is weird. And obviously the date the video is posted is placed in a rather odd location. Now, this can't be chalked up to, oh, maybe the user interface was different at the time of upload. Even through the Wayback Machine, it still doesn't match this. So whether this was a convenient editing, trick to basically create a user interface to make the video look like, you know, it was actually hosted or this was a screen grab is questionable. And it's one thing that I think people should honestly look at. What else are you willing to obfuscate? Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is in the Wayback Machine, you can actually look up the description for the video that, again, Dogpack is going after.
This is damning.
And in the description, you can actually see that the entire, like, mentioning of, you know, free entries for the sweepstake, which is what the contention of illegal lotteries was, actually got mentioned. So
100 random people that buy this shirt/hoodie will be invited to compete in my recreation of Squid Game. Only available for 48 hours. Free entry available on site. Must be 18 plus and a U.S. resident located in the USA to win. I'm doing this because recreating Squid Game for a main channel video looks like it'll cost over $2 million and I need to help paying for it. Haha. Damn. Buy this t-shirt for a chance. I mean, it's right there.
why wasn't this brought up in the video itself? That is a pretty serious mention. Did you want to make things look juicy? Did you want to deliberately...
See, I'm glad, now that we're coming into this full circle, I am glad that this video is here because it's really not anything about MrBeast. It's more about the allegations that were thrown at him and really about the merit and the ethics on how it was done. Because at first, you hear these allegations, you're like, damn, this is kind of a lot. This doesn't look good. Now, after some time, people have gone back and fact-checked it. There's so many little details that were just wrong, made up. Muda used obfuscated, like, and he's right. If you're gonna purge a small little detail that doesn't need to be exploited at all, like if you just laid it out as a statement, it's crazy enough as it is, but you're trying to dress it up to make it like more YouTube and content and clickbait worthy. It's like, are you not the thing that you're claiming MrBeast is?
modify evidence so that you can present things in a worse light, because that, like I said, is incredibly fucking unethical. And it's one thing that deserves to be called out. Again, if someone is doctoring evidence or presenting things in a bad faith manner, every single allegation you've made comes into question, as it rightfully should. So it's why when I've ever researched anyone or have actually brought forward serious allegation, it's working with what you actually have and can prove in a video, right? If I show you IRS documentation, it's because you can download that for yourself and actually go through it line by line alongside me in the video. If I show you some crazy shit happening on the blockchain, I'll walk you all the way from the beginning to the very end, so nothing seems out of place, and you, the viewer, can come up with your own conclusions. Not presenting things in a way that's going to have you come to a conclusion I want you to. All right? That's how I think investigation should be handled. And
that just has good moral and ethics. Once more, and good integrity. Where has this gone in modern society?
Wasn't how it was handled over here. So the next big thing was spreading like CP allegations. Now again,
that's
anytime
huge.
you involve creators and CP or something like that, this is a pretty serious point. Okay?
You need to have
now,
proof.
Remember that baker lady, Rosanna Pansino, I talked about? Well, she uploaded a video where it was titled MrBeast Knew All Along, 1,000 leaked messages. Now, inside the description over here, you can see that Rosanna Pansino is saying, these MrBeast company work chat logs have been confirmed as legitimate. So immediately you're looking at this and you're wondering, why is this that big of a deal? Well, if you look carefully at this image, one that I have to blur out even more is an image of what appears to be Ivanka Trump when she was 13. So this image is one that's censored by Rosanna Pansino, one that I've also further censored on my own. Comes across as a actual video where allegedly they were sharing CP in the group chats. Now this is a pretty serious allegation. Again, if you distribute any form of material like this, it's not protected by the First Amendment. You can in fact see yourself go to jail for 5 to 20 and in some cases 30 years, as you rightfully should. Now, what kind of evidence was kind of brought up forward over here? Well, let's look carefully. In one case, no form of alleged was being used. It pretty much was treated like actual CP was shared. Now, this group chat from Telegram actually ended up not being a work chat. So already a mistake right there.
Yikes. It was work capitalized and bolded too, if you noticed it.
If you look at this actual chat, when the group was made in 2019, Ava, Chris Tyson, makes it, I created this chat for NSFW memes.
If you don't know what NSFW means, it's not safe for work, for like the three of you who may not know what this means.
Because the other people in the dumpster fire ones are normies, And of course, the further you see this, even Ava gets mad that anytime somebody shares stuff work-related, that's work stuff. This is a non-company meme chat. Like, dog, it is so easy to actually uncover this that it's not even funny. Like, you can absolutely discover this for yourself, okay? You don't need anybody else to tell you. You can research this on your own.
Man, and it is. I get victim to this all the time of just reading a headline and being like, "Damn, that's crazy," and just kind of sticking with it. But when it's a case like this, it's like, does it make it any better? No. Are they still sharing that stuff? Yes. But you don't have to lie and make it seem like that's a public work server that everyone knows about. Instead, they're like, yo, this is not for work. Get out of here. Don't bring up work shit. This is for the freaky dicky licky P. Diddy type crap in here, okay?
Now, in a deleted community post that thankfully was archived by Soggy and plenty of other people in the community was when Dogpack had mentioned this. New MrBeast leaks, emoji, 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 fire, fire, fire. Ro and I, that's Rosanna, got access to some of MrBeast's internal work chats. We have to sort through them and censor all the naked pictures before leaking them all. But we just went through some of the chats on... What? Oh, wait, they thought they had CP on there? Wait, naked pictures? Whoa, hold on a minute there. I just had logical Larry here message me through my schizophrenia, boys. If the images contained what you believe to be CP, if they did, you can't just be possessing them. You can't be sorting through them and censoring them.
Yeah, you got to be working with the law and being like, yo, we just got some shit. We don't want to look through it because we don't want to have any type of digital footprint filtering through this. Please take my phone now. I'll go to the store and get myself a new one. Do with this as you wish. Please don't arrest me. You know, like,
just merely possessing CP is a
common sense just went right out the window for this kid. And it seems like he is just envious for the clickbait, for the fame. And he wants that same kind of juice squeeze nectar of the god, right from the tittle of it. He wants to suck from it, suck a viral fame and YouTube stardom, right? And he's upset that Jimmy is able to like have first row access to it, and he wants some of that. So he's willing to throw any and everything and throw mud everywhere to try to get to it, not realizing the mess that he's leaving behind.
A criminal act. Like, bro, this isn't goofy drama. This is an actual criminal act that we as a community rake anybody over the coals over.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like Muda and I, we're on the same frequency. I'm picking up what he is putting down.
For possession of CP in the United States federally, you can expect 5 to 20 years of jail time specifically for transportation, which depending on how the law is interpreted in a courtroom, could mean that if you shared this internally between people on the internet, okay, in the group chats, as you're, editing these videos and censoring things out, that is illegal, okay? Even if it's
you're literally uploading it and moving it around to different files, like you're putting your own fingerprints all over it. That's potentially, allegedly, come on, you're not thinking.
First time, even if it's your actual issue, you are actually facing 5 to 20 years of prison, okay? It's fucked up. So in the video, apparently it was reverse engineered what they believe to be CP, like reverse image search, which again, if you believe it's CP, why would you even try to do that in the first place? Anyways, the picture they censored in the video was actually an 18-year-old image of Ivanka Trump from GQ magazine. So again, if this took 30 minutes to find, why even falsely accuse someone of distributing seriously illegal material? Like, the people that are defending the Dogpack stuff need to look at stuff like this and say, this is very fucking reckless, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Again, I don't even think MrBeast is going to sue because honestly, it's too much of a public perception hit. But if I was in his situation, bro, it would take a lot for me not to contact my legal team and issue some fucking actual attack back. Because if you're going to accuse somebody of distributing CP, you better make sure that you have actually confirmed that they're distributing illegal material.
And he's being so, as Muda said, so reckless with it. It's just like, you're not understanding the virtual and physical muddy walls behind from just slinging mud everywhere. Like, he's about to get.
So while Ava is sending this stuff can be disgusting, even with the context of this being a discussion involving controversial figures like Jeffrey Epstein and trafficking, it's completely irresponsible to say there was CP distributed when it isn't. It's just bad faith reporting. And this level of mischaracterization has any reasonable person questioning not just the evidence.
It's 100% defamation. I mean, everyone thinks of MrBeast in a different light now. I was even doing it when I was watching the video when he was empowering Indian women. like, hey man, we have to look at this guy through a little lens now, and we're kind of like psychoanalyzing him. It's definitely a level of defamation from Rat Pack and Soggy Cereal.
But even the
Dog Pack.
motives of the people involved. Look, if this video that I'm making hasn't convinced you to question everything, I don't know what will, okay? And why is it that a baker on the internet and, this one disgruntled employee aren't being questioned far more seriously? Like, you can't just take everything somebody says at face value. You shouldn't take what Dogpack says at face value, nor Soggy, nor what I say.
You could trust it, but verify. Trust no one, verify everything.
Do actual research. Look at these situations objectively. So one of the actual responses that I keep seeing Dogpack make is, I'm not a professional journalist or investigator. My goal is just to bring credible allegations to light so they can...
Credible allegations. The only reason why you're saying they're credible is because it's coming out of your mouth.
Be properly investigated.
Should say, my goal is just to bring reckless allegations to the light so they can be recklessly investigated.
So I find that response of not being a journalist to be incredibly infuriating. Like, dude, no one's asking you to have a journalism degree or work 5 years in an institution, but it's...
Have a backbone, have some integrity, and have some freaking morals, man.
Pretty obvious to not be a bad faith person. The people defending this, in vain of MrBeast being this evil figure in their minds, are... Dogpack is not this brave person to come forward with this stuff. Dogpack, if these are actual serious...
But do they want them to be... God, do they want MrBeast, who's so successful, who's doing all these things? You low-key want him to be a son of a bitch. Because at least then, he would be a loser like you.
Allegations is only making things worse if there's actual malfeasance. Because now everyone's questioning the story. Guys, it's okay to question people. It's okay to understand that no one in the story appears to really be a great person, okay? You can not like MrBeast, you can hold him to task, and you can also say, this dipshit Dogpack should absolutely should be raked over the coals for a serious level of bad faith that we're seeing right here. One of the point of contentions for me was when Dogpack accused an individual known as James Warren of domestic abuse. Now, at the time, they tried to get in touch with the source who allegedly found charges, but instead of confirming all of that beforehand, they went forward to make this video known as MrBeast Secret CEO, which literally just got removed, I think like a week ago at this point, while being up, getting millions of views for, I think over like a month and a half at this point. So until a MrBeast employee reached out and confirmed that James Warren Dogpack...
And he was able to monetize those? Oh my God. The amount of money he made from all of this? Just a lot of different vectors for him to get sued.
Had mentioned was different, likely not even the same person, with...
I'm not a professional journalist or investigator. My goal is just to bring the credible allegations to light.
Actual pending FOIA requests is completely wild. Like, how are you going forward with a pretty serious allegation when you yourself haven't completely confirmed it? Like, I get it, you're not an investigator, but you also shouldn't be this reckless and stupid. Like, this is an incredibly serious situation. If you were attaching somebody's real name...
He's stupid. He for sure is. So I think we figured out why MrBeast fired him.
To a serious allegation, you better make sure things are perfect. Or getting sued is probably the least of your worries. Arguably, the only actual allegation that I think Dogpack might have actually gotten right is maybe one of the illegal lotteries when there was like no mention of free entries, like some previous lotteries. So maybe there might be a gotcha there, but honestly, like anything in these videos I've said when it comes to illegal lotteries.
But if that's the one thing out of the 99 other like investigative things that were just thrown out the window, it's like how much water does that even have? And even if that does have that one, it's like, come on, look at all the other stuff that was just like...
For sweepstakes, it would actually be more impressive to see actual legal insight. Like, instead of opinions of me, Dogpack, or Soggy, or anyone that's talked on this whole scenario, it maybe is better to have legal understanding, discuss this situation, and describe what is illegal and what isn't. Because again, what matters through state to state, what matters in front of the federal government is always usually different and interpreted different. So I would like to hear a lawyer's opinion. That might be my only concern with all of this. I think any form of sweepstakes or lotteries, when your channel is aimed to...
Yeah, anyone who could speak fluent in laws and bills and regulations, I would like to hear their opinion on this as well.
...towards children is a bit on the predatory side. But I feel like all of this is probably best discussed by a lawyer. Now, about a week ago, I looked at a crypto expose regarding MrBeast that was actually pretty damning. And since then, plenty of other channels like CoffeeZilla have covered it, And
Yep.
from MrBeast's own mouth, it appears to be a situation where he mostly moves some funds to other people to operate crypto stuff for him. So how much of that do I personally trust? Honestly, not that much at all. I think for a guy who is so into cryptocurrency, I have to ask why he just moved money and pretty much never followed up on it, especially if that fund was doing as well as it allegedly was.
Yep.
Like, if I gave money to a group of people, I would periodically check up. And it only makes me raise questions and makes me wonder if the
When
irresponsible
it's $11 million as well, you best believe I'm following every fucking trail.
responsibility of MrBeast running that company at 18, 19, hiring RSOs is still not somewhat of a fact today. Like, bro, this is actually quite recent. It's not
Not only that, when Mr. Beast went on the Joe Rogan Experience, can you believe that Mr. Beast went on the JRE? He would. One thing that shocked me was how little Mr. Beast cared about, at least at that point in time, other than just views and numbers. When he uploaded a YouTube video, he was so obsessed with the analytics, and it was like, it was crazy how obsessed he was with analytics, with the comments, with everything else. That if he's in crypto and he's looking at, like, he likes seeing charts, he likes seeing numbers, he likes seeing growth. I could see crypto being something that would utterly fascinate Jimmy to the point where he's staying on top of it, and he knows where his money is going, and he knows where it's growing or not growing.
not even that old. Like, you got to give a much better explanation than one that has you gapped away by proxy. So I think asking commentary channels and creators to review videos, and this is from MrBeast's idea, where, you know, MrBeast sent out messages to friends of the channel like Caleb, Turkey Tom, to cover this entire video is incredibly weird. And even Soggy agrees it's just not the play. So
Yeah.
according to Soggy over here, there's some things that have come to my attention that I find concerning. He has confirmed the one I personally feel most disgusted by being MrBeast DMing my video to creators, asking to take responsibility and accountability for the very serious allegations he still needs to clear up. He has confirmed done illegal things and showcased scummy behavior he still has to respond to, not just from my videos, but from other videos, notably regarding things like cryptocurrency.
The biggest issue here is, like, he has confirmed done illegal things. Where's the confirmation on all of it? It's still alleged, right? And we can't go on here saying, hey, this is all true evidence. He has to respond to it. And a lot of times, like, this is what they, like, reporters do this a lot in sports where they try to say something, or like in politicians, they try to associate with them. And if the politician denies it, then they're going to run a story. Politician denies being XYZ. And now they're caught up in it, and it's just like tied to your image. So it's like, sometimes the best play is just to ignore it, right? When fucking gnats and flies are swimming around you, you just kind of just swat them away. You don't pay them all mind. You don't let them ruin your day.
Because that isn't just baseless slander. And it's something that even MrBeast pointed on Soggy's video. Finally, a video that doesn't spread baseless slander about me. LOL. Like, bro, you still have to actually address the crypto stuff, some of that Lunchly stuff, and really a lot
the
of
crypto
the other
for sure.
questionably illicit stuff that has happened. So I also feel used, since it seems he's using my video, which I credited, to inform people of Dogpack 404's untrustworthy nature, as well as hold MrBeast accountable for shit he should be held accountable for as a shield. Which I hate, because if there's one good thing that came out of Dogpack's video is that it removed Jimmy's Golden Boy Boy Scout shield that had been protecting him from criticism for years. A shield that should not have existed in the first place. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think plenty
I would say that's actually kind of a fair statement. As I'm listening to that, I'm like, you guys see, I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
of creators are
MrBeast definitely was the golden boy of YouTube. After PewDiePie stepped down, MrBeast stood up.
infallible. I think there's plenty of
PewDiePie stepped down so that MrBeast could rise above the rest.
creators that make serious mistakes. And as a human being, you should always strive to do the best. If it's one thing I can give Soggy after watching his entire video and researching this even from a closer lens, it's from an investigator to an investigator, neutrality.
If somebody, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you right there, but if you're somebody who's wondering why you should always try your best, if your name is attached to something, you should always try your best for the pure safety of doing it for yourself and having pride in your own actions, in your own merit, and your own identity in this life.
Neutrality is incredibly important, and this video held both Dogpack to the fire as it did MrBeast. And it's not an exoneration. Like, don't get me wrong, MrBeast still has a lot of stuff to answer for. But this is how you do an investigation that is completely neutral, an investigation that is, pretty, up there to hold both parties to task and refocus on pretty serious things. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been, the MrBeast stuff. MrBeast, MrBeast follow-ups on follow-ups.
I like it though.
While
We need
I'm
this.
personally enamored by the story, and obviously I think with the people watching these videos, I think
Yeah.
you all are enamored as well too. I try not to go into over-presenting these things because, like I said, not everything out of the story really grabs me, but as it develops, it's one that I feel pretty comfortable sharing because I think holding a creator up to task that has questionably done some really shady things is one thing that I've done on my channel for several years now. Probably something that I've done as I've grown more closer and more comfortable uploading myself on the internet. I've done this for years. And what I've seen with MrBeast is not something that I've seen far off with people like Logan Paul, people like Gerard, people like really anybody.
They're just the same painting with just a different brush, or maybe even a different paint. Instead of watercolor, it could be acrylic, it could be oil, it could be graffiti, it could be spray paint. You know what I'm saying? But they all are kind of like they're all kind of dubious.
Has crafted, or at least once crafted, a pretty infallible image on the internet, right? But this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Bye.
We see you, airport dad.
Muda is the man. I do appreciate his videos and the way that he does them because he does it with like integrity behind it, and he's just laying out the facts, and you don't have to dress up a lot of it when a lot of it's crazy.